more prospects to paying clients. So we are recording today's presentation. You will automatically receive a copy of it tomorrow, plus any resources that we talk about. And now let me introduce my partner in crime here, Todd Vio, who is our VP of Technology. Todd, say hi.
Hello.
Todd's going to be helping me with today's training. Here is our agenda. This is not really as intimidating as it looks, but we're going to cover, first of all, the difference between SwiftpageConnect and AEM Act eMarketing, two different programs, two different, completely different feature sets. Number two, email versus drip marketing tracking. You don't do it the same way. Number three, viewing your email reports and downloading your scores back into your ACT database. Number four, tracking metrics for drip marketing campaigns. The way that you look for results in drip is very different. How to create a call list to do your follow-ups. Following up using the ACT Marketing Results tab, which allows you to do your follow-ups within ACT. And then lastly, some cleanup stuff, cleaning up bounces and bad email addresses so that you can leverage those plus opt-outs to really maximize, optimize your sales calls. So our first topic is going to be the difference between SwiftpageConnect and ACT eMarketing. So we have a little graphic here for you. SwiftpageConnect is the graphic on the left, this one here. And then ACT eMarketing is here on the right. That's how these screenshots show you which program you have. With some of the later versions, they're automatically, later versions of ACT, they're automatically defaulting to ACT eMarketing. And while ACT eMarketing is cheaper, it's $10 a month, it doesn't have nearly the feature set that you're going to get by using SwiftpageConnect. SwiftpageConnect is the email service that SwiftPage started with about 10 years ago. It allows you to do email, drip, surveys, putting web forms on your website. What else, Todd? Call list tracking.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of?
No, I think that's it.
Yep. And ACT eMarketing is just a straight, put an email together, send it out. It does have a call list, but we've not gotten a lot of really good feedback yet at this point. It's still fairly new. I would not say if you're on SwiftpageConnect, you should make the switch yet. A lot of people think, boy, I can do the same thing and save some money. Nope, can't do a lot of stuff, and it's buggy. So for now, we're really recommending that you stay with SwiftpageConnect. It's been around for a long time. It also has a few bugs like any software, but a lot of them have workarounds, and it's a much more solid program at this point. Okay, number two, or I guess this is our number one. Okay, so we're going to talk about the email tracking versus drip marketing tracking. I know some of you are probably not doing drip marketing at this point, but a lot of people are overwhelmed by getting into that, and it's a completely separate module. So it's not like you're going to be running into it while you're doing regular email marketing stuff. You have to add to your subscription and add on the drip marketing module, and then there's a whole new set of rules that go along with that. So it's not something you're going to have to worry about unless you're going to do it. But if you're thinking about doing it, you can get a free trial forever, I think, with that to send up to 50 emails a day. So it might be something to look into if you're feeling pretty good about your email experience and being able to get emails out fairly easily, then that's the next step. So when you do that, if you do move to drip marketing, your scores for both programs are accessed in a different part of the program. They're downloaded from different places. And you always, as a good best practice, whoever sends the email should be the one who downloads the scores. Sometimes we have found if one person sends it and another person downloads scores, some of the scores go missing and they're not retrievable. So just keep everything consistent on the one machine that you use. Also, the differences are that email call lists can be created on demand meaning you do a blast, you go create a report of your results. And in a week from now, you can go back, and if more people have joined that call list, then you'll get an updated version of it. In drip marketing, you have to be a little bit more proactive. You have to add the call list as a drip stage, or you don't ever get to go back and create one on the fly. You don't get to say, oh, I forgot, I'll go add it now. Once it's past that stage in the drip, you're done, can't go back, can't retrieve anything. There are some built-in reports that will let you look at information in a different way, but in terms of a call list, nope, can't get one if you don't plan for it. Now, also on the call list section of Swiftpage, which we've got a little screenshot down here, where everything in blue is a hyperlink to a call list report, and then these are the scores that go with that, and then here's the update button. The very first one always defaults to all sends in the last 14 days. That is only accumulation of your email blasts. It does not include any drip marketing that you might do. So if you are looking for results in this report from a drip marketing campaign, nope, not there. Totally separate, not included. Okay, so Todd, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about looking at email reports.
Okay, so the email reports, and as Lori's saying, this is email reports, not the drip marketing reports, so we're just focusing on that first. But the email reports you access by clicking on your Swiftpage icon in Act, then clicking the Results tab, and whether there's something there or not, it doesn't really matter at this point because we're going to look at the results online. So we want to see the reports, or click on the Reports button at the bottom. It will list every email that we have, so we kind of skip past that screen, but on it, it'll list every email we have, and we're going to select the one we want to see the reports on. That's this is the screen that you'll see once you select the email that you sent the report on. So there's a couple things that we focus on here. The first one, and we have highlighted there in the top left-hand corner, is the open rate. So right now, this one is a 15.4%. Keep in mind, there's a couple things about this. 15.4, that's not bad. It's pretty good now. But these open rates are actually dropping. And even though, in reality, our emails are still being opened the same amount, but the open rate is dropping. And that's because a lot of the email programs, that when you receive an email program, whether it's in Outlook or Gmail, you may notice that you get a message that says, do you want to download the images? The images are what causes any of these programs like this, like Swiftpage, to be able to know whether or not you've opened it. So if you do not download the images, Swiftpage has no way to track whether you've opened that or not. So even though you may have read the email and looked through it, you just didn't download the images, you do not get counted as an open even though you actually read it. So, and that's getting more and more common in most of the email programs. People are downloading the images less and less. So keep that in mind when you're looking at those open rates. Your open rate is probably quite a bit higher than what actually is being displayed there. But these are the open rates that Swiftpage is aware of.
And this is not a Swiftpage thing, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's the same. It's across the board for all of the email providers. So it doesn't matter whether it's Swiftpage or not. They all track the emails the same way. And so Microsoft and Google and all of those that are writing the email viewers have all caught on and are changing it so that it's harder and harder to track that. Okay, and this one is the unique clicks by link. So we like this report. You can go in and you can see down to the individual person who clicked on what image or what link within the email. So we can see how many links or how many clicks per link. So it numbers them and orders them in order of the emails that come in within the email itself, or a number of links within the email itself, and then we can see how many clicks on each one of those links and go down to actually see who clicked on each one of those. So this is a good report. We can kind of tell which links are working the best here as well, and we can see which ones, who clicked on which link. So if you go back, Lori, to the previous page, a couple other things on here. We're going to get into the bounces and opens in the bottom right-hand corner, so we'll get into that in just a little bit, what to do with those. But if you want to see opens and clicks, there's a summary that'll give you counts by links, so you can see any of those as well. The other one that you can receive here is the call list. We'll get into that in just a minute here as well, but here's how you create a call list for this individual email. There's several ways of creating call lists, but if you want to create one for just this one email, this is a place where you can do that. Okay? No. Okay, so downloading scores. So that was viewing the reports on the within Swiftpage. So that's how you go into Swiftpage and review them online. However, you can also download all of that information right back into your ACT database. If you click on the Swiftpage icon, so if we go up, click on the Swiftpage icon, get back to our Swiftpage window. And we're going to click on the Results tab again. So now what it's showing you is listing all of the emails that we've sent out recently and how many updates there are. So an update means that there's something to be downloaded back into your database, whether it's a click, an open, a score, something like that. There's something to be downloaded back in your database. So every time you come in here and you see something on this list, we want to click the Toggle All button and then the Submit button. And this will download all of those updates back into your database. So this may take a little bit if you have quite a few to do. You may want to let it run overnight. But just keep in mind that while you're doing this, you can use your computer still, but your app is going to be locked out as it's downloading all of this information. So if you don't, if you keep up with it, it should only take a few minutes. But if you wait and let it sit for a while, then it may build up and it may take a while. Also keep in mind that Swiftpage only keeps that information for 2 months. So after 2 months, all of that information is going to be deleted. So you do need to come in here pretty regularly and download those information. So once you've done that, though, this is what it should look like. This means that all updates have been downloaded to your database. There's nothing left to download. So we can just close out of that. If we go back to our ACT database, we can look in one of the records, and we click on the History tab of one of those records of somebody that received an email from us. This is what you're going to see. These are all the emails that we've sent out, so these are the email blasts. It shows on each one of those, the individual email, it shows you the subject line, so you can tell and which template it is, so you can tell which email it was that was sent out. It shows you the score. So the score is based on the number of clicks and the number of opens. So that one has a score of 0 with no clicks and no opens. If we look at the one below it, it has a score of 22, and we have 4 opens for that one. So 22 is not bad. You can see down, there's a 38 down a little lower. That one has 8 opens. And you can adjust the way it scores. However, we've found over the years that the scoring does pretty well on just leaving defaults. So, but you can see there as well inside that is now a warm lead. It says warm within it just next to status. So this is where the call list comes in. It's using those scores to generate the call list, and we'll show you that in a minute how to get those call lists. But based on the email that's sent out, how many times they've clicked on it, open it, that generates a score, which in turn generates a call list of all the people that scored high on a particular email. Okay, so that was for email blasts, what we just talked about. Those are individual emails that we're sending out. Now for drip marketing, the reporting is kept in a separate location. So it does not keep the reporting for emails and drip marketing in the same place. You have to go to a different location. So we're again going into Swiftpage. We're going to click on the drip marketing tab now, and we're going to go to Campaign Manager. So this will list all of our campaigns that we have, the drip marketing campaigns that we have set up in our account. We're going to go down and find the campaign that we want to click on. Oh, go ahead, next screen. Yeah. So we're going to go down, find the campaign that we want to click on. There's a new directions campaign. We're going to click on the reports button next to it, so you can see each campaign has its own reports. We can click on the reports to the campaign we want. There's a few metrics on the page that immediately pops up. It's not really anything major. That, if you want to see kind of a summary of what's going on with it, you can see that, how many contacts are in each one. But the report that we want is at the bottom here where it says View Opens and Click Counts. So if we click on that, now we get a list of all of the contacts that are in our drip campaign and how many times they've opened or clicked on an individual email. So we can see each stage there. So it's top stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Those are the emails going out in our drip campaign. So we can see a few of them have not done anything with them, but then as we get lower, we have one that has 25 opens. So Stuart there has 25 opens in 1 click. So most likely, there's a couple of reasons to explain why you have such large open rates. So if you see that, or that somebody has an extraordinarily high number of opens or clicks, most likely there's a couple of reasons for that. The opens, if it's just opens, it could be that they let it sit in their inbox, and then every time they go by, so they're working their inbox, they're deleting emails, and when you delete an email, it automatically takes you to the next email, which if they're leaving it in their inbox, it's possible that every time they delete something, they click them down on that one, that's another open. So they're just racking up all these opens even though they're really not paying attention to it. They're just leaving it in their inbox. That's one reason. And when you see a high open and very few clicks on it, that could possibly be a reason why. The other reason is they forward it on. So if they forward it on to other people in their office or anybody, and that person opens up the email, that open counts towards the original contact. It doesn't create a new contact in your database for the person they forwarded on. We don't know who that is. All we know is that that email is linked to the original contact, so it counts as an open towards them. So anytime you see a high number, that's generally the reason why they're sending it out to other people who are in being counted towards their opens. And then you see Larry there, the one below that, is he's opening it every single email that you're sending out. So that's that's certainly a flag that he's somebody that's very interested in what you're sending out, and he's viewing and opening everything that's going out to him. So with the drip campaigns, you can set up stages for call lists to generate call lists based on each of these stages. But if you just want to view a report of all the opens and clicks, this is the opens and click report for a drip campaign. Okay, so now we're going to get the call list. So again, there's 2 different types of call lists. We have the call list for the one-off emails, the email individual emails, and then we have the call list for the drip marketing campaigns. So this one is the call list for the individual emails. And I showed you how if you're in the reports for a particular email, you can generate a call list. You can do that from here as well, but this one you can actually include multiple emails. So we include more than one in this. If I click on that, it's going to list all of the emails, any emails that we've sent within the last month or couple months. So I think it's 2 months. So if we do all available, that would be 2 months. So to show you all the emails that have gone out in the last 2 months, we can select all or however many we want to include in this call list. So we select them, hit add, it moves them off to the bottom. So in this case, we're going to add all 3 of those, make this call list to include all 3. And then we hit next, and it pops up this. This is where you can adjust the scoring if you want, and then what's going to appear as the hot, warm, or what's the last one, cool leads, or whatever the last one is. So so you can generate or change the threshold there to who's a hot, who's a warm lead if you want to adjust that. Again, for the most part, we're pretty happy with the way they score everything, so we just generally leave this alone. We put in the name that we want to give this call list in the middle there, and then click Generate Call List. It will pop up a screen. This is the screen. It will show us the call list, and it puts that we're sorting here. We can kind of see the scores over on the right. This is creating that call list based on that score. So the highest score is at the top, and then it kind of works its way down as to lower and lower scores. We can see those are on the strength over on the left. These are all the hot ones. So based on the threshold that we put in on the previous screen, these are all of our hot leads. These are the people that have opened it, clicked on it. And you can see those on the right-hand side, how many opens and clicks they've received. So if we want, we can use this right from the screen. There's additional pages. There's a next button at the top right-hand corner, so you can get additional pages if you want. So it actually has the phone number and email address on the screen, so you can will this to make your follow-up calls if you wish. Or you can click the list management button at the bottom, and it will give you the option to email it to you. So you can get a spreadsheet email of that. So whichever way you prefer, if you prefer to work online, you can, or you can just have a spreadsheet emailed to you, and then of course you can email that spreadsheet on to if somebody else is going to actually make the follow-ups. Okay, so but in addition to just creating that call list online, that call list is also available within your ACT program. So there's a Marketing Results tab within ACT, and in that Marketing Results tab, that's what's connected to Swiftpage. So that call list, there is 3 different columns here, or there's 4 actually, but 3 is the one you actually work out of. So the middle column there, it says call list. This is what is going into each of the columns to the left and right. So this is kind of how we set it up. We put the call list over on the right. We click that little arrow, put the call list over on the right, and we do the summary over on the left. I'll talk about the summary here in just a minute. But on that call list on the right, now that we've created that call list online, it will appear on the drop-down list. So there's a drop-down list of all of our call lists within our system. So I can click the drop-down list, and now that new call list that we just generated will appear here. And so when we select it, it will automatically go to the first contact in that call list. And you can actually see on the top, it did a lookup and took you to that contact records information. So now we have his phone number and everything else with that contact right in our ACT database with that call list. And it shows you your opens, your clicks down the bottom of that call list. So we can make our call on to Mike here in this particular instance. On the left-hand screen under our summary, we have the last history that we've done with that contact. So it shows us all kind of everything that we need right here in one location. If we make that call and we need to call them back or follow up with them, we can create a new activity. We don't have to switch out and move anywhere else. We can just click the new button, create a new activity for that contact, add it to their activities tab, put it on our calendar to follow up with them later, and as well as history. So if you do get a hold of them and you want to make notes in your history, you can click the new history button and just create a history right from here. So we don't have to really ever leave this tab. Everything's right here for us in one location. And then when we've completed with Mike, we can click the arrow button and arrow to the next on our call list. So there's an arrow right there. If we click that, it'll take us to the next record, which will automatically do a lookup on that contact. So it takes us to the next record at the top, and so on and so on. We just kind of work our way down the call list. So there's also the, yeah, there we go. So we went through our second record and Gretchen now, and it takes us to Gretchen's record in the ACT database as well. So, so that's kind of how we work the call list within ACT. We use the Marketing Results tab. We pull the call list down. Now, if you created a call list a while ago and then come back to it, you will need to update the call list within your database. So you'd select from the drop-down list again, select that call list, and click the Update button at the bottom. And that will go out to Swiftpage Online. So Swiftpage is a cloud. It's all stored online. So even though we've created a call list, people are still opening those emails. They're still clicking on them. All of that's still being kept online. None of that's being downloaded into your database. So we need to go back out online and tell it to update all of that information and download it into our database again. So that's what the Update button does.
Todd, let's talk a little bit, too, about access to this information, because in our experience, it's been better to have the call list sent to the person who's going to make the calls if it's somebody different than the one who sent out the email. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so Swiftpage, when you set up an account in Swiftpage, it has different users. So each user has their own set of information. They have their own templates, their own emails. When they send out their emails, everything is kept separate by user. And they don't really cross over very well within the system. I think that was their intention at one point, was to kind of put all of that together. But I don't think that was ever really completed. So when an email is sent out, so when a user sends out an email, that user is the one that's going to receive these call lists. So if you're in a multi-user environment and a marketing person sends out the email, but the salesperson is the one that follows up with the contact that's going to do the call list, it really doesn't work very well. The Marketing Results tab doesn't really work very well for that. It only really works with the person that originally sent out the email. So in that situation, you would need to go online, generate that call list, and have it email it to you, and then forward that email on, that spreadsheet on to the salesperson to follow up with. So everything is kind of user-centric within Swiftpage, so this would only work for the user that actually sent out the emails. Okay, so cleaning up unsent email addresses. So Swiftpage will track all of your bounces, your opt-outs, and give you reports on all of that. The opt-outs, they're going to automatically suppress for you. However, we want to still flag them in our database so that we suppress them. And you can even have a follow-up message. We'll talk about that in a minute, how to do a follow-up message with anybody that has opted out. But the bounces we want to flag as well, so that we may want to contact them and find out what their actual email address is, or if there's a problem with it. So Swiftpage gives you reports for all that. So then we're going to show you here real quickly how to grab that information and upload it into your database. So to do that, we need a free add-on. It's an add-on from Exponential. We have the website up here at the top. So if you go to exponential.com and go under free add-ons, there's one called Email Address Lookup.
We'll actually attach a link on the resources tomorrow.
Right, and you'll receive a link with it with the tomorrow in our email, follow-up email. But download that, close out of ACT, install it, open ACT again, and you'll have a new icon on your toolbar in ACT. And when you click on it, it looks like this little screen here. So here are the directions. I'll kind of walk you through it, what to do. But essentially, we're going to go to Swiftpage, get the report, and then load that back into our database. So here is the reports again. So we went into Swiftpage, got into our reports, found the email that we're going to process, and we're going to click on the suppression data. So suppression data at the top, that is all the people that have opted out. So there's essentially 4 different places that we want to pull from the suppression data. the unopened, the bounced, and unsent, all down the bottom right-hand corner there.
Well, the suppression data, that's from the beginning of time.
Correct. So suppression data is everybody that's ever opted out, not specific to an individual email. For the bounces and unopens, you have to go into each individual email and pull a report for that. So we click on any one of those. It's going to email us or ask to email us a spreadsheet. So you simply download that spreadsheet, open it up in Excel, and copy all of the email addresses. So highlight all the email addresses, copy them. Now, with our new add-on that we have, there's that new icon in ACT. We click on it. It opens up the email addresses lookup, and we just paste the email addresses into this window. So it's just a big long list of email addresses. We click the Create Lookup, and it goes and creates a lookup of all of those contacts in our database. So here they all are in our database. Once we have those in the lookup, now we're going to tell ACT to update the field with the whatever the spreadsheet was, so whatever type it was, whether it was a bounce or an opt-out. So we do that by going to the Edit menu and then Replace Field down towards the bottom. It opens up a window, looks like this. We select on the left, it says Replace Contents Of, and there's a drop-down list. That drop-down list is going to list every field in our ACT database. So we need to have a field in our ACT database where we're going to flag that these are the people that have opted out in this particular case, or bounced, or whatever it is. So we've created one in our database called opt-in. Even though it really should have been opt-out, but we called it opt-in a long time ago and have never changed it. But you can, if you don't have one, there are some user fields and blank user fields that you could use. There's named user 1 through 10. So you can use one of those for your for the field, just as long as you're consistent and know which one it is. Then on the right-hand side, we put in the value we want. So if it has a drop-down list on the field, there will be that on that value. We'd select it, select what we want, hit OK, and it will overwrite and put in for every record in the current lookup, so all those records that we did a lookup on the email address of, it'll put do not email in their opt-in field. So we hit OK, it processes that, and that's done. And then we just repeat that process with all of those other reports. So do that with the suppression, the unopened, our bounced, and unsent. Then we also want to include in the in future emails, we want to use this field as part of our criteria so that we do not send to anybody that has do not email in their opt-in field in this particular case. Okay, Lori, that one's yours. You're muted.
Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. Todd mentioned how with bounces, we want to flag them because those are missed opportunities if we don't clean them up. So somebody may have changed their email address. That person may not be in that position at their company anymore, and so their email bounced, and maybe now there's a replacement person and there's another opportunity for you to connect with them. So with opt-outs, though, those are people who are pretty much saying, I'm done with you, don't need you anymore, go away, leave me alone. And that's fine, but in, I don't know, 10, 20% of the cases, we have found that sometimes the person is opting out of the message that you're sending, but they're not really wanting to opt out of everything that you're doing. And Swiftpage currently does not have a way to let somebody pick the things that they want to get versus the things that they don't want to get, so it's kind of an all or nothing. So to not lose those opportunities, we do this procedure. We have a one last ditch effort that we send out. It's an ACT document template, an ADT template that we put in our ACT templates that we would use through Outlook, and we send one last message. I actually use Gmail now but you can do it with your mail merge through ACT and Outlook. Can you do mail merge through ACT and Gmail?
No.
No. Okay. For anybody using Gmail, I don't know if you want to try it. There's an extension called Canned Responses. So I have actually set this up in my canned response, and then I just fill in the person's first name, and then I don't have the mail merge at the bottom because I'm the only one that sends it. But if you're using ACT, then these fields are what are going to drop in the salesperson who might be following up on that opt-out. But you don't need to write this down. We'll include this template with the links that we're sending out tomorrow with the recording. But we send this out, and like I said, in about 15 to 20% of the cases, I get a response back either telling me why they opted out, which I appreciate, or telling me, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to opt out. I must have hit the wrong button, put me back in. Or I'm not the person anymore. Now the new person is so-and-so. Or a lot of times it's just, you know, they've moved on, they're not interested, but you get to do a little bit of market research and find out, you know, what are people thinking when they're opting out. Or at one time I had somebody say, I know where to find you. I don't need to get your messages. I will always know to call you if I need you, but I don't want any more email. So they were opting out of my email, but they weren't really opting out of me. So I have found this to be a very nice tool, and I probably get, I used to get about 50% response. I think it's down to about 30% now, but it's still worth it for the few that I can save or the feedback that I can get. So I strongly remember that as an option. So we're wrapping up our tutorial for today, and we are going to answer some questions. We've got a couple of questions now that we'll get to in a second. So I want to wrap up what I want to talk about before questions with this offer. Swiftpage, as I think everybody on the call knows by now, was bought out about almost 3 years ago now. Or I should say Sage was bought out by Swiftpage about 3 years ago. And all of the Swiftpage support is now farmed out to India, and good luck trying to get help when you need it. And Swiftpage used to have really excellent customer support, and now with the switch, they're just, you know, I think really trying to support ACT technical issues and not spending so much time on the Swiftpage side of it because it is much more turnkey. And it's not that things go wrong with Swiftpage that often. It's more that something that you think should be working isn't working and you don't know what the workaround is. So we offer an annual support plan for Swiftpage that works out to about $30 a month, not even $30 a month. And that gives you unlimited calls, emails, and Skype, if you're on Skype chat, to Todd and me in the moment of, you know, zero gravity when you are trying to get your emails out there to stay on track, get your campaigns going when you're trying to get them going, and you just need that last bit of information, or you can't figure out your HTML in the content editor, or what are some of the other things that people have called us about, Todd?
Some of the, yeah, mainly it's the email editor where you're not able to get something to line up properly or get an image to fit correctly or something like that. Yeah,
and we've had Swiftpage icons dropping off of the ACT contact screen. We've had just, you know, different things like that that if you were going to call Swiftpage support, you would end up waiting on hold, and maybe they would never even get back with you. And it's frustrating, and what we found is it makes people not want to do as much email as they should because it's too much trouble. So our clients who are on this program love, love, love it. You also get free training. The training that you're on today would be free if you're on our support plan right there. It's about $700 value throughout the year, so that makes it worth it. If you end up needing some help where we do have to charge you for whatever, you would be on a discount, VIP discount. So it's a nice insurance policy that also lets you talk to Todd and I. And if you get me on the phone, I also help with strategy. Our sessions are less than 20 minutes at a time, but you can email unlimited. You can Skype chat with us. Both of us are on that. And the clients who have been on this program renew every year. It's something that they really feel is a value to their business. So we're going to offer everybody on the call today $50 off, and it's 12 months. And you'd be amazed at how much further along you can push your marketing when you really have a partner who knows the program as well as we do, who can help point you in the right direction and not let you waste so much of your time. A good value. So, all right, with that, that's the end of my sales pitch. I'm going to turn it back over to Todd. We had a question. If you read the question, I'll go back and find that screen.
Okay. So as under call list actions, how do you set a follow-up after talking with the customer? So if you're doing it within ACT, there you would create an activity. So there's the activity tab and our activity button, next activity button on the left. So you click the new button to create an activity, which will be a call, and you can schedule that for whatever date time you want. If you're going to do it within the spreadsheet or online, you'd have to track that separate. You'd have to put it in your calendar or something there. But within ACT, you would just click on that next activity button and click the new button there.
I also wanted to mention I put a download of a tracking spreadsheet as part of what you got when you signed up for this training class. If you don't get it, we'll also have a link to that tomorrow in your follow-up recording as well with the resources. But we use that probably for the first couple of years that we use Swiftpage, filling that in religiously because we don't do it anymore because I have found out what works for us. And I still do subject line testing, but I don't do like what day of the week works best for us, what time of day works best for us. We figured that out by watching that tracking sheet over a long period of time. Periodically I'll go and I'll monitor it, but for the most part it works out to be the same thing all the time. So I don't keep that spreadsheet. But if you're new to Swiftpage or if you've not done that, you might want to keep it up for, I don't know, maybe 90 days, 6 months, to go back and look and see which messages really resonate, which ones are getting opened, which ones are getting clicked, which ones do better based on time of day, based on day of the week. You know, everybody say never mail on a Monday, never mail on Friday. Well, some of my best response has been on both of those days. The only day that hasn't really worked for me is Saturday. Now, if I were in a business-to-consumer business, that would probably be different. But B2B, Saturday is no good, but Sunday is good. And I think Sunday people start thinking about what their week is going to be like and getting back to work a little bit more than they maybe want to, but they're reading their email. And now with mobile being so readily accessible, people are reading their emails all times, all days. And so you want to have something compelling in there that, you know, it's not just as easy to delete off their mobile phone and never actually read the message. So use that tracking sheet. And if there's any other questions, we will stay on the line for another minute or so and see if anyone wants to ask anything. And Todd, any last words of wisdom from you?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So thank you all. You'll be on our list for our next training, which will be in a couple of weeks. And watch your mail tomorrow. It will not come from the Database Diva. It will come from GoToMeeting or Citrix. So look in your junk folder if you don't see it in your inbox, but it usually comes in around the afternoon. And you'll have the recording. You'll have all the resources that we mentioned. And thank you. Hope you learn a lot, and send some emails.